5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, everything should be all good. Right. Let's kick this thing off. Hello everyone, and welcome to round number 4 of the IRL season. We are here at the lovely Suzuka, Japan, as you can see on the left hand side. I'm joined with one of the championship contenders. We won't be here too long, we're just going to get some brief thoughts from him, but it is Bugatti. Say hello, Bugatti.
Hello, Bugatti.
Always want to be the clown, as you can tell. But yeah, Alfie, I just thought I'd get you in for a few comments. I have double checked the standings, and you're the man to beat at the moment. You're 1 point ahead of Lee Finley on 56. Sorry, not Lee Finley, Lee Kelly. Lee Kelly on 56 points, and he's on 55. Obviously, we are at Japan. We had a brief interview, obviously, with the podiums a couple of races ago, and with the driver of the day. And you did say the upcoming tracks, Silverstone, Monaco, Japan, Canada, they're all wheel-based, so you were going to struggle. But I think you've done pretty well. You've had a race win and a 4th place, so not too bad. Just to get your thoughts on Japan, what are you thinking?
A lot of negative thoughts. No, this track is horrible. The curves in sector 1, they'll kill you if you look at them. The marker boards, hopefully they survive, because no line, I need the marker boards. But the track just a bit boring on this game. On previous games it was alright. This game's a bit, I don't know. At least they fixed the bumper last corner. That's the only positive I have to say about it.
Wow, not the best review of the Japanese circuit, but as we said, you're top of the sheet, you're top of the standings. You're quite a way ahead of Brendan Glover in 3rd and Lewis Millam, who is a reserve in 4th. But what's been the key so far for your success? I know you weren't that confident going into the season. I know you were planning on being up there, but you weren't that confident you'd do this well. But just give us an insight on what you're doing differently, probably compared to your competitors, and that's why you're at the top.
The famous saying, to finish first you must finish. Everyone else having a retirement or a 10th place here and there. Even if I haven't got the pace like Monaco, just, bag yourself a top 5. Don't risk anything, and that's how you win championships. Maybe a bit boring, but it works. So that's my strategy. Just, if I have to not battle someone or give up a position to secure the points, then so be it. But at the end of the day, I will be victorious.
No, it is showing. You've had a 2nd place, a 1st place, and a 4th place. So I think you were alluding to Monaco with what you were saying about keeping it clean and making sure you're not DNFing. A lot of DNFs in Monaco, especially if you're a few of the championship contenders. You had Lewis Curtis, who didn't attend the race, so he was completely out of it from the start. You've also got Kieran. So Kieran did DNF Monaco after an incident that you caused at the first corner. And then you also had the stray, we did make it to the corner. And then you have Lewis Millam, who probably the bottle of the century, to be honest, just turned into the wall when he had the pace to win the race. So very disappointing from him. And it does show, because 26 points difference at this stage of the season is a race win. So you've got to think you're in a strong position maybe for the title. I know Lee Kelly is here, but being a reserve, he could miss a few races. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, some people get a bit hot-headed, like Lewis Millam, gassing himself up all the way through the race on about his pace. But if you're going to turn into early and hit the wall, it's pointless having good pace. You're not going to finish the race on 3 wheels. Sorry.
Well, we've seen it in real life, but I understand what you're saying.
Well, not in the game, anyway.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, just going back to Lewis Millam, I know you and him share a rivalry, not just in F1, but on many other games as well. And I think it's been a big point to prove during this season, isn't it? Who is the better of the drivers? One's on pad, one's on wheel, one's a full-time driver, one's a reserve. And it is been quite interesting to see not just you two, but the front, say 4, I'd say, with Lewis Curtis, Cam, Kieran sometimes, and obviously Lee Kelly, really scrap it out for these race finishes and podium finishes. And just to get your insight into Lewis into Lewis's brain for a second, because I know you really do get under his skin, especially if you do outperform him. Is that an extra motivation for you during the races, or?
I think it's a motivation and an advantage. You know, half of the battle is mental. Get into his head and he crumbles, as we've seen at Monaco, and as we've seen, you know, a few other times this season. He's just a very emotional driver and can lose his head and get carried away and not focus on the result, but instead focus on, you know, one corner or, you know, going for a move that doesn't actually matter. And in the end, he will fail.
Wow, that's some strong words. You've heard it here on the stream. That's some strong words about Mr. Milam. I know the session's about to get underway. We won't keep you for too much longer. But who do you think is going to be the thorn in your side this season? I know we've spoke on and touched on a few drivers this afternoon, but who is going to be the one that you really look in to put a marker down and make sure that they are always behind you at all times?
Well, I think the driver with the most pace is, but I don't think he's here today. So, you know, that's going to be his downfall, not being a full-time driver. But yeah, if he was here every week, I think Lee would definitely be the man to beat. But from everyone else, I don't know. Bran doesn't have the pace, but he is quite consistent. Cam will break his leg before the end of the season, so I don't think I have to worry about him. Lewis, you know, doesn't have the mental, you know, fortitude to fight for a title. So, you know, I think we're all good.
Wow, some strong words from yourself, Alfie. Probably the last few questions, then I'll let you continue with your qualifying. But we've got a nice bunch of races coming up. I know we are focusing on Japan today, but I just want to get your opinions. You've got Canada and Austria, next two tracks. I imagine Canada's going to be another difficult one for yourself, so maybe damage limitation. But do you think your season really starts in Austria?
Yeah, I think, you know, you've got to look at the positives in a calendar like this, especially if you're on the pad. And Austria is a very big positive, but I think so that's a, you know, one that I'm going to mark on the calendar for a must win. And you know, can't let points slip at Austria. And Canada's another damage limitation. I think just top 5, I'll be happy, and let the people around me make mistakes, and I'll pick up the pieces.
No, well, it's been nice having you. I know it's been very brief, roughly about 5-10 minutes just with you in the commentary box, so it's been nice having you. Good luck in your qualifying session. I hope to enjoy a nice battle around Suzuka. You don't get many battles, even in real F1, around this track, but I hope to enjoy a nice front row battle with yourself and maybe somebody else. But yeah, good luck, and let's see how it unfolds. I imagine Mr. Milam is seething to get ahead of you on track.
I'll hopefully see you after the race, the podium interview.
Hopefully. But yeah, like I say, good luck, and try and keep it as clean and as competitive as possible. Yeah. But yeah.
See you in a bit.
See you later. Right, and there you have it, the scoop. The championship leader going into Japan, Mr. Ollie. He's doing pretty good jobs, like he was saying, with all these wheel tracks coming up. You know, to be the championship leader in this championship at this current moment, it's a pretty tall feat. And I think if he gets Canada and Japan out of the way, you know, he's got the likes of Austria, Saudi, which is going to be brand new for every driver. Very fun track. I do like Jeddah. And then you've got the likes of China as well, which is normally favoured towards the pad. So it's going to be interesting just to see where Alfie does place himself after them 3 races. But we've got to focus on today. And today it is Japan. As we said, the likes of Paco Suarez and Lewis Curtis leading the lineup for the start of the qualifying session. I think Lewis Curtis has a point to prove as well. He's been showing in a few practice sessions that he has got the pace. He's just trying to extract it the best he can. Also a driver known for, I don't want to say bottling it, because he's been pretty solid this season, but also, oh my God, as Paco and Lewis getting very close going into the penultimate corners, into 130R. But Lewis will start off this qualifying session. But Lewis is a driver, he's got the potential. He wants to be up there. He can be up there. He can actually win this championship. He does have the pace. But it's just that mental fortitude. Can he keep it together on race day to maintain this fantastic pace? He is running the number 2. Let's hope he doesn't finish there today. Let's hope he finishes number 1 as he does kick off the start of this qualifying session in the lovely Scarlet Red Ferrari sponsored by UPS. As Sector 1, a very challenging sector, you've got to be careful on these curves as he's very hesitant to get on the throttle at every point. And the turning circle as well on these cars, you know, if you turn in too sharply or too loosely, then you are really going to struggle if you're on these curves, as we see yellow flags already in Degner 2. So let's hope nobody impedes Curtis as the Williams does move out of the way. And it is on the medium tyre to start with, so a lot of drivers opting for the medium tyre just to get a grips of the circuit, just to see whereabouts they would place on the leaderboards, as Luke actually retires from the session, so that's not a good start for Luke 2 Red. And also Matt Romano is out. Matt Romano not one for starting in quali, and normally finishes the session in last place, but that is his personal preference. So let's see where these drivers can place themselves, as Lewis has a massive moment coming out of Spoon, did very well to keep it together there. But he's going to go through 130R, as it is going to be a purple sector 2 because he's the first person to set a lap. But let's see where it puts him. So Lewis Curtis round the final chicane. Can he nail it? Looks pretty solid so far. Was he within the white lines? The game says he was. As you come around the final corner, down the hill, across the line, a 129.3, so not too bad. And then Paco Suarez, I believe, would be the driver to finish behind him, which is a 129.9. Jared Fosbury, a 130.8, and we've got the likes of Brandon Glover on the soft tyre as Ross goes third. As Toxic Tomato on the medium tyres is a 128.9, which is a fantastic lap time. And Brandon Glover as well. Was that on the softs though? It was on the softs. So Brand on the softs, not beating Cam on the mediums. So that is very, very disappointing from the Alfa Romeo driver, Aston Martin driver. God, can't get me teams right today. As we see the likes of Bottle King spinning on his outlap. And Sondre Solheim about to finish his lap as well in the other Scarlet Red Ferrari. He's going to cross the line. And he's going to put P8 at 31.0. A lot of drivers getting bankers in, as we see Gravity going round as well. Cam Rules on a lap on the mediums. And the man we've been speaking to for the past 5 minutes, Mr. Alfioli. Here he is in the AlphaTauri. On the medium compound tyre, he's going to round the final two corners. Let's see where he can position himself on the pad. It looks solid so far. He's going to take a nice wide, and it's only a 140, so maybe just a banker for Alpha. He might go for another one, I think, on this lap, because he does have everything saved up. All his ERS is around about 80%, so he may go for another one on this lap. Laggy TM crosses the line and in a different car every week, that man, with a 129.2. Cam Rules will be the last man to finish out of the runners, and then we've got Bottle King after him as well, starting his lap. So let's see where Cam Rules can position himself. Currently in P14, hasn't set a valid lap time yet, but there's not been too long gone in the session, so let's see where he can position his Red Bull. Looks pretty solid so far. Just scraping the curb on the outside of Spoon Corner, but as he gradually elevates up the hill into 130R. It used to be a tricky corner. I think nowadays it's nice and straightforward for the drivers. The aerodynamic flow and the downforce produced by these modern cars is just phenomenal. So it just glues itself to the racetrack. As he goes through the final chicane on the medium compound tyres, he's currently 14th position. Where can he position himself? It's currently P8. So P8 with a 130.4. So not too bad lap from Cam. A lot to build on, a lot to improve on. As we're going to move on to Bottle King, who seems to be struggling, as there's an Alfa Romeo in the wall, which is Adam. And he's actually out of the qualifying session. So I think he's lost it at Degner 1, which is rattled his car's shape into Degner 2. And then he's unfortunately hit the wall. So unfortunately for Adam, he's currently sat in 6th place, but I don't think it'll be 6th place coming the end of the session. And as Alfa sets a 129.9 and slots himself into 6th position, as Bottle King on the soft tyres actually bottles the lap, and it gets invalidated. So Karen Rules, will he be pulling into the pit lane? I think he will be. A nice fast in lap from Cam though. He's looking quite ready for today. Hopefully top 10 performance, as he just loses his slightly out of the hairpin. Don't push too hard on your out lap, Cam. Sorry, on your in lap. Just make sure you carry the car home nice and safe. As you've got the likes of Brand Glover and Jared Fosbury going around sector 1 as well, looking to start their laps. Is there anybody else out on track that hasn't set a lap yet? We've got the likes of Infinity coming out. Jessica Harrison making her way onto the circuit. Let's see what she can do in the Alfa Romeo. Yet to score a point, some of these drivers down here as well. So I think it's a goal for them as she invalidates her out lap. I think it's a goal for them to really push for some points in the Japanese Grand Prix. A lot of mistakes can be made, so if you keep it clean and consistent, you should be fine. As there's yellow flags as one of the McLarens has spun. It's Bottle King again, maybe trying a second attempt on the soft tyres, just losing it on the exit at the top of the hill before the second sector. But yeah, I think Jared was the first man to exit the pit lane for the start of his second lap. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Let's see what Fosbury can do. Just hearing the sound of the Mercedes engine as it goes through 130R. It is quite nice, to be fair. I know it'll never compare to the likes of the V10s and the V8s, even the V12s from back in the day. But it's not too bad, nonetheless. You have to appreciate the technological advancements they've made. Hopefully the cars this season can sound slightly better. Maybe just put a fatter exhaust on it, you know, like some of these roadmen that you get nowadays with the Corsas, the Vauxhall Corsas with a fat exhaust. You know, make it sound nice. As Jared's going to kick off his lap through the first sector. Looks pretty solid so far. We're going to go cockpit cam just to see the steering inputs from Jared. Seems quite smooth so far. No instabilities in the car. Very planted, that Mercedes look, but does it look very fast as he sets a purple sector 1 according to the game. He's 0.6 up on his current lap time. So Jared Fosbury looking to make a mark. At 0.6 of a second would only put him P7, so probably looking to go a bit higher on the leaderboards as he short shifts into second gear on the hairpin. And as he comes around the long swooping right-hander into the entry of Spoon, I just want to see how he takes it. Going to brake just slightly after the 50 metre board, gets it nice and tucked in for the second phase of Spoon. I think he could have taken it slightly quicker. Looks a bit jagged from Jared so far, but it has been a smooth lap time, which is normally what you need as there's a Ferrari off. It's not Sondre, it's actually Lewis Curtis that has made a mistake at the top of the hill. And as we see, Ross Denham as well, nearly been it in the wall as Sondre retires. But we're just going to continue with Jared, as it looks like he slightly locks up going into the chicane. But it's been a nice, smooth lap time from Jared as he's going to cross the line to set a 1:30.1 and put himself in 7th position. So not too bad from Jared. As Brandon Glover sets a 1:28.4 on the soft tyres. So Brand's pace on the softs earlier was not accurate, as Paco's actually made a mistake at Spoon as well. So drivers left, right and centre are really struggling. There's Fly High's on our lap, so let's see what Fly High can do. As Delta's on his outlap as well, so we're finally seeing the emergence of the Alpines. I'll just check, see if anybody's about to finish that lap. Jessica Harrison is down there in 12th with a 1:32, the only driver to be in the 32s. So Jess really does need to pull a finger out and see what she can do. Just scrolling through just to see if there's anybody about to finish their lap time. I know Lewis had a bit of a moment earlier, so he might peel off into the pit lane. He will. Brandon Glover's finished his lap time as well, so let's go on board with Fly High. So coming through 130R, brake. I love how there's brake marker boards, but obviously there's no braking zone. That's Fly High, keeps it in 3rd gear. Yeah, same as me, nice and flowing through there. Let's see where Fly High puts it. Actually loses it on exit though, so just got to be careful on that curve on the right hand side, as he's going to position it 12th with a 31.2. So a lot to improve on for Fly High currently, as Delta is on the lap as well, so we'll stay on board with Delta, the other Alpine. Let's see what this man can do. Doesn't shift down to first, interestingly, into the hairpin. Doesn't shift down to first. Keeps it in second to maintain traction on exit. As we approach Spoon. Looks pretty solid so far, as one of the Alpines is his teammate who's lost it in the first section, trying to get out of the way of people. And we will go on board with the Alpha Tauri duo afterwards, because I believe one's on an out lap and Alfie is on his soft lap. So let's see what Delta can do. 186 miles per hour as he approaches the chicane, turns in about 4 times into the chicane. Very sluggish and slow from Delta so far, but let's see where he can position himself. It's a 1:30.9, so not quite in the top 10, but not too far off. So let's just go on board with Alfie, who's actually going to back off this lap. So maybe a bit of a mishap happened for him there, but he's going to back off as there's yellow flags in sector 3. That is his teammate slowing down, as Delta has actually made a mistake. Oh, is he not out? Not too sure what happened there. He has managed to recover it. Just make sure you don't block anybody on track, Delta. But he has lost it into the gravel. Fly High should be pitting soon enough. Delta's just going to stay there, I think. As Lewis Millam sets off on his lap in the Williams of all cars. So Lewis Millam really likes chopping and changing his cars. He's currently a reserve driver in the season and he looks all over the place. So the setup he's got on, very unstable. Make sure he stays off the curbing. This one of the McLaren seems to have lost it. It's not Bottle King again, is it? It is Bottle King. Bottle King having an absolute nightmare. In this session, he's going to box. So Cam approaching the hairpin. We've got Alfie on his lap as well, so we'll stay on board with Alfie. Let's see what he can do. Not too sure if he will finish the lap. He should have time to get back to the pits if he does want to finish the lap. But let's see where he will position himself. He's going to come across the middle sector now. He's a second up on his time. This is a fantastic lap from Alfie. This is actually sensational. This could put Alfioli on pole. If he can maintain his judgment through the final chicane, that's lovely from Alfie through the final chicane. Keep it together, and he's going to peel off into the pit lane. So he said he was a second up. He definitely would have gone pole, as we're going to have to go back on with his teammate who also boxes as well. Lewis Millam, is he looking to finish the lap? He won't be happy with third place, this man. He wants the glory. Keeps it in third gear. A bit scruffy through the chicane as he actually upshifts quite aggressively as he approaches the line. But Lewis Millam, will it be pole position? It's a 1:28.5. No, it's not pole. Brandon Glover has the upper hand. Will Lewis be able to get back into the pit lane? We're not too sure. As Cam Rules goes P5 with a great lap time. Cam Rules, a 1:29.6 for Cam. That's sensational. I said he was hungry today. And he's been practicing, because that is a very, very good lap time from Cam Rules. Well done. He's up into P5, so sensational time from him. We've got Paco Suarez out on a lap as well. A very interesting time to come out on the track. Maybe he's just picked a nice free slot so he can really have the track to himself. And let's see where Paco will go, because it looks like he's going to finish the lap. As he's looking a bit shaky coming up to the middle second split, and yeah, he's down, so I think he has made a mistake, so he will enter the pit lane at the end of this lap, I'm sure. As Cam Rules has retired from the session, doesn't think he can capitalise any more on his performance. Lewis Millam hopefully can get back, but I'm not sure because the yellow flags as drivers are pouring out now. Ross Denham currently sat in 10th place. I don't think Ross would want to be down there, especially when he's been banging on about his pace with no assists apart from line, as he's just too shaky and needs to relax. He's chopping every corner, left, right and centre. I know it's his outlap, but he needs to just relax, calm the tyres, cool the tyres and go from there. Lewis Millam. Will Lewis Millam make it back? I'm not too sure because there's the yellow flags everywhere. I think his session is over. So Lewis Millam, his session is over, I think. And that is it for Mr. Millam. As we're going to go on board with the Haas of Ross Denham. Because Ross will kick us off, I think. There is only that's Jared will kick us off. I think Jared's going to kick us off. He is. Jared Fosbury, the final run of the qualifying session. He's left himself enough time as well if he messes up to do a second run. You don't really want to be doing a second run on these sets of tyres though. Here he comes. Into turn one. Very sorry from Jared Fosbury. Probably can carry slightly bit more speed, but a bit hesitant to get the lap in, I think, Jared, as he's staying well off the curbing, as he's actually nearly lost it going through the second part of the S section in Sector 1. But seems to have recovered nicely and kept his composure. Jared, not full throttle for the left-hander, which is very interesting to see. A lot of drivers have been going full throttle. As he's going to take a bit of the grass on entry, doesn't go wide into Degnan 2 either on the curbing on the outside, and he's going to carry on his lap. Jared Fosbury looking decent so far. Shifts up to third, short shifts through the hairpin, doesn't look the fastest hairpin I've seen all day, but it is looking very solid from Jared. As round the swooping right-hander he comes, clips the curbing on entry as he enters spoon fifth gear. He's not going to run wide. Some good wheel inputs as he keeps it nice and tight to the curb on the inside. Runs slightly wide, which is what you want to be doing just to carry the speed of the car up the hill. As he now undulates through 130R, he's going to see 200, 150, turns in sharply, nice and straightforward, flat corner as he approaches the chicane. Where will Jared Fosbury finish this qualifying session? Looks very smooth through the chicane. Jared Fosbury to finish the lap. He's going to activate DRS. Comes to the line. P6 for Jared, 129.7, sorry. As Ross Denham, where's Ross going to stick it on? Has he made a mistake during the lap? I don't think so. He's been quite solid. Comes into the chicane. Oh, he's all over the place going into the chicane. He's nearly lost it on the exit as well. Ross Denham is absolutely all over the shop, but he's going to set a 129.6 and actually beats Jared Fosbury by half a tenth of a second. Crazy scenes here as his teammate goes 8th, and I think he's going to have to start his lap as well. But let's go on board with the guys at the top as Lewis Millam has finished his session. Bran Glover looks like he's invalidated his lap, so Bran might not be on pole. Will Cam be challenging Bran Glover? I think he's on his lap. No, he's not. I think he's backed off. I'm not too sure what's happening. That's a bit of lag. Just trying to keep up with everybody as they're on laps. We've got Lewis Curtis sat in 4th on his lap as well. We've got Bugatti, who's about to round the final couple of corners, but I think he's up on his time by a lot. So I think Alfie's actually bottled his lap time. Yeah, Mr. Ollie's going to come across the line. Let's see where it positions himself. Maybe the delta is wrong. No, he is in 9th position. That's not good for the championship leader. So, here he is, Toxic Tomato. He looks like he's bottled his lap as well, and he's actually nearly crashed into the pit lane. Lewis Curtis, can he be the man to dethrone Brandon Glover from pole? The lap times haven't been that impressive from what people have been setting, but here he comes, Lewis Curtis, the man called McBottle on the daily, in the Scarlet Red Ferrari, 5th, 6th, 7th gear as he approaches the line. Lewis Curtis does take pole. It's a 128.3. What a fantastic lap from Lewis Curtis. When everybody seemed to fail, Lewis Curtis prevails, and Paco Suarez goes 4th with a 128.8. He beats Toxic Tomatoes. The AlphaTauri boys have had an absolute stinker. An absolute stinker in this qualifying session. Paco Suarez for Haas has been nowhere this championship, picking up a few points, and he's currently sat in 4th. 0.3 of a second off 3rd place Lewis Millam, but ahead, crucially, of Toxic Tomato. That is a big result for Haas there. We've got 2 drivers in the top 10. And just a congratulations to Paco. That has to be the driver of qualifying. But Lewis Curtis takes all the applaudits here in Suzuka. Pole position for the Scarlet Red Ferrari, announcing his return with a bang. As you can see the time screens here, you got Bran Glover with a 128.4, 1.5 tenths behind, with Lewis Millam not too bad of a lap considering he didn't set it at the end of the session with a 128.5. You got Paco Suarez with a 128.8 on the soft tyres. You've got Cameron Young, didn't set a time on his softs, only on the mediums, a 128.9 for him on the mediums. So that's looking quick, but I'm not too sure what the strategy is there. Same with Alfie, down there in 9th on the medium tyres on 129.9. So maybe it's tactical from the AlphaTauri boys down there in the positions. Also, we've got Cam Rules with a sensational lap, 6th position for him. We've got Tech 3-1 Racing, or Ross Denham, in 7th. Jared Fosbury in 8th, and Hamrick rounds off the top 10 with Fly High in the perfect position for the alternate strat. I have to say, not too bad qualifying session from these guys. Lewis Curtis really showing his pedigree. Not too sure if that's the fastest lap time I've seen so far, especially in the practice sessions, but he's produced it where it matters. Okay, very interesting to see. Waiting for players. Maybe there has been a lobby issue, or maybe it's my PlayStation. I don't think it's me. It should be fine, as the session will start in 20 seconds. We'll see then, hopefully, if the session hasn't crashed. I can see the cars on the right-hand side with a few NPCs waiting in the wing as well. I think it's okay, as the formation lap will start. Gives me a chance to get everything up and running. Right, so details, position change, tyres, that's what we want to see. So here are the tyre graphic on the left hand side. So, top 4 on soft tyres with Cameron Young in P5. With the medium tyres on, we go all the way down to P9 with Alfioli on another set of medium tyres that he set in quali. Then you've got the likes of Hamrick down there in 10th, who's going to be starting on the softs. You've got Fly High, who's doing the alternate strat. I think that's the perfect decision from him. Gravity or Adam starting on the soft tyres, making it a bit interesting in that backfield pack. You've got the medium tyres on Delta and Sondre down there in 13th and 14th. You've got Luke 2 Red on the softs. You've got Aspect, Kevin, who didn't set a lap, I don't think, in quali on the mediums. You've got Bottle King on the softs with his teammate doing the alternate strat. And then you've got Matt Romano down there on the mediums as well. So it's going to be a thrilling race just to see what these guys can do. If you just give me 1 second, I'll be just having a bit of a breather before we can sort everything out. As I've returned, trying to get prepared obviously for the start of the race as these drivers queue up for quali. A few DSQs. We've got Fly High, Gravity, Alfie and Matt Romano all succumbing to the DSQ, so they're going to have lovely cold tyres for the start of this race. Obviously the championship leader down there in P9, is that going to hinder his race? I'm not too sure if it's the best place to be starting, especially around here at Suzuka, not the easiest track to overtake. A few DRSs. A few DRS zones, well I say a few, there's only one, down the main straight. I think they do need to implement some sort of a DRS section, especially maybe on the entry to Spoon. I know it's quite a long corner, but we're not too sure. But anyway, it's 5 red lights here at Suzuka. I've got probably one of the worst camera angles I've seen in my lifetime to start the race here in Japan. But it's lights out and away we go as Lewis Curtis gets a phenomenal start with Paco Suarez. Looks like he's going to be challenging for P number 3. We enter turn 1. No collisions so far from what I can see as Paco is going to shove Lewis Millam out wide and he's going to maintain 3rd position. That's a sensational start as the likes of Hamrick and Ross are going side by side through the S section. Is Ross going to maintain the position? He is, as Hamrick's going to drop down to the likes of 8th. Alfioli down there in 8th position on the medium compound tyres, making a pretty decent start as there's already severe collisions down in the pack as Aspect, Infinity, Fly High all caught up in the action as Alfie may get a penalty for running slightly wide there. We're just going to see from this perspective where drivers are going to make the overtakes as Ross Denham's going to go down the inside of Cam Rules. That's a sensational move, but Cam Rules is going to do the switchback. No traction on the inside there for Cam Rules, so Ross should get the move done, and that is a fantastic job from Ross Denham. Cam Rules is not very happy with that overtaking. He's actually going to go on the inside of Spoon. Ross is going to push him. You've got to give him room on the inside, and there's contact, and Cam Rules is round. Cam Rules is round there, and Ross is going to escape in the distance into 6th place. Cam Rules, after making a fantastic start, is unfortunately going to be succumbed to a bit of a spin as Lewis Millam makes an overtake for P number 3 as the guys in front are going to start battling as well. Brandon Glover and Lewis all over the back of each other as Paco concedes a podium position to the likes of Lewis Millam. We're going to see what Brandon Glover can do now as Lewis Curtis is going to defend the inside line going down the straight. A lot of ERS deployment being used. Brandon Glover looks like he was going to make a move there, but it's a virtual safety car. Bottle King, severe collision as there's drivers overtaking left, right and centre. As Cam, still in 5th position, not doing too bad. Delta up to 7th. So he's doing a fantastic job up there. Let me just double check positions. There's a few drivers with penalties you can see on the screen. And position gained, look at that, Ross 1, Delta 6th positions gained. We've got Sondre with 5, Bottle King with 8. His teammate also with 8 on the alternate strategy. And then the likes of Cam Rules down 10, Fly High down 9, Jess down 4, and Hamrick down 8. So a lot of drivers really suffering or gaining off the start as the teammates look like they've swapped around. And I think Bottle King's gone wide, so he's allowed his teammate MCFC to drive past. Just be careful though, guys, you nearly run into the back of each other. So yeah, not a bit sketchy from these guys, as we now see Alfie down there in 13th position. So I'm not too sure what's happened to Alfie on the stream. I'm sure he will relay the information back towards us, but maybe a mistake from Alfie that's dropped him down to 13th. But he was in a solid position up there in 8th, so I'm not too sure what's happened to him. Maybe a bit of contact, I'm not too sure. But the racing's going to get underway as Sondre and Jared are going to exchange positions, and Sondre's going to go on the inside of Delta. Sondre into 130 off Fernando Alonso, Michael Schumacher vibes, and what a sensational overtake as Jared runs wide in awe. Shock and awe from Jared as he's actually going to make a move down the inside, nearly loses it. As Delta actually concedes the position to Sondre, who's made a fantastic start and is all the way up into 7th. So sensational from the Ferrari driver as they weave their way down into turn 1. Luke 2 Red in the box, as well as Bottle King to serve a few penalties as well. So these guys not had the best of starts, and it looks like, oh, it's Alfie in the pits as well. So Alfie's not had the best of starts, may have some damage, as he looks like he's going to get a wing change and a set of hard tyres equipped to the car. As we are going to go back up to the front with these guys like Jess, race over apart from safety cars. So them guys unfortunately down there. Lewis Millam all over the back of Brian Glover. He seems to love being behind that Aston Martin. Whatever track we're at, that Aston Martin is always there. As IRL Neon is looking to make a move into take number 1. You do not make moves into there as Jared nearly loses it, trying to back out of the move. But he is all over the back of Delta. These soft tyres doing miracles at the moment so far. As we've got the likes of Jared all over the back of Delta. That's a sensational hairpin from Jared. I'd use a bit of ERS to try and get past Delta here, because he's really going to be hampering you, especially with the likes of Ross Denham getting up there in the field. Sector 1 does have a safety car because Hamrick has binned it, but I don't think there will be a full safety car. I think it will just be yellow flags for now. As Delta's using a bit of ERS, Jared's using a bit of ERS, but Sondre saw how he is absolutely flying. He's now got clean air and he's going to use it to his advantage as he's up into 7th position. So a sensational start from Sondre, as we're just going to go back onto tyres because we've seen what these drivers are currently running. As Lewis Curtis looks like he's made a mistake and actually conceded the position to Brian Glover. It might have been DRS assisted, but the lead has finally changed. So Lewis Curtis is down there in P2 right about now, as Jared might make a move on Delta. Now, he looks like he needs to make a move. Jared, he's never been the one to be aggressive on these guys. Seems to get quite flustered in these situations and incapable of making a move, as MCFC's doing a fantastic job in the medium tyres as well, with Sondre, with the likes of Sondre and Delta. These medium guys doing a fantastic job with Cam up there as well. Alfie down there in P16, the championship leader, he is suffering. This is giving everybody a chance to claw back some positions. Obviously no Kieran in the Williams this evening, so Kieran nowhere to be seen, and Alfie down out of the points, and no Lee Kelly. So the championship is going to be blown wide open. These guys are going to be fighting tooth and nail to try and get past each other during this stint. Sondre currently 3 seconds behind Ross Denham on the soft tyres, so Ross could be in with a chance of a podium if he plays his cards right here. There was a collision with Cam Rawls, but to be honest, you shouldn't really be sticking it up the inside of the spoon. If I'm Ross Denham, I'm doing exactly the same thing. Right, here we go. Through 130R, will Jared finally make a move? I'm not too sure, as Brian Glover has extended already by a second. So Lewis Curtis, maybe he's overheated his soft tyres or something, but Brian Glover is absolutely flying. Seems to be clawing the position back now, as Adam has made a move on Luke 2 Red, who looks to be boxing by the looks of it. No, he's not. He's staying out, but he's losing positions left, right and centre, as Paco and Cam have exchanged positions. So I think Cam has capitalised on a mistake, as Fly High is now out of the race as well. So Fly High at the hairpin has caused a safety car. Interesting. This is really going to shake up the order now. Fly High has caused a safety car. So, I'm going to give you my opinion. I think if I was in this scenario, I would not be pitting if I was the front runners. I can understand these guys down here pitting. I think Alfie's pitted for a set of mediums as well, with the likes of Bottle King, yes. But if I'm Brandon Glover, if I'm Lewis Curtis, if I'm Lewis Millam, I do not pit. You have to stay out, because your nearest competitors are on the medium compound tyres right behind you, as you can see. But they are not an immediate threat, because all this does is help you with longevity. If you can maintain these soft tyres for longer, you can stick on the medium tyres at the end of the race and catch these guys. So I think the play here is not to pit. I think if you pit, you've made a big mistake, but I could be completely wrong. That's what I would do personally, but let's see how this plays out. I think the smart decision would not to pit, but let's see what people do. Brand Glover is peeling into the pit lane, so is Lewis Curtis, and so is Lewis Millam. And Ross Denham, and that's Paco Suarez, sorry, so Ross don't pit, silly from Ross Denham. He's going to be cost a lot of time. Even Delta's going to come into the pit lane, as well as Jared Fosbury, and MCFC as well. We've got the likes of Adam backing up. Is he going to pit off the soft tyres? He is going to pit off the soft tyres. And they're going to stick on the hard tyres to the end of the race. I don't know about that, guys. I do not know about that. But anyway, they banked on the hard tyres. Let's see where these guys will go. Who stayed out? That is Matt Romano staying out on a set of medium compound tyres. He's going to jump the field all the way up to P7 for Matt Romano. He's never in these positions, so he must be gassed right about now. As you see the likes of Luke 2 Red, Aspect, Cam Rules all pitting as well. Alfie down there in 17th place. Not going to gain any positions on these guys who haven't pit. That's Infinity. Yeah, Infinity is going to carry on, which is the smart decision in my opinion. Alfie's already pitted as well. Let's see where Kevin comes out. He should come out ahead of his sister on the soft tyres. Soft tyres, very interesting from Kevin. That's a interesting strat. But hard tyres to the end of the race. They have allowed Cam, one of the fastest drivers in quali, to have clear air at the front with not even that one medium. So I don't know what to think. I think the guys who are currently sat P1, 2 and 3 could be our podium finishers. I don't think the hard tyres were the play, but let's see what these guys achieve on these hard tyres. It's the start of the race. They can go all the way to the end, but they are really going to suffer. So Brand's changed it up a bit by going onto the medium tyres instead of the hards, as we wait for the likes of Alfie and Bottle King to approach. I think Alfie's all over the back of the Alfa Romeo, so the Alfa Romeo might need to get a move on. We have a very interesting start to the Japanese Grand Prix as what has happened to MCFC? Is he spun? He spun under the safety car. Inexcusable. Matt Romano is going to pit for a set of softs. Why? As Kevin pits for a set of softs boxes again, which is going to drop him to last place. Matt's not going to get out ahead of these guys as well. So that's 2 positions gains for Alfie and Jess. So nice and easy. Bottle King is going to box again, not too sure why, but they're going to box and it's going to delay the safety car even more. I think the safety car will be in this lap regardless anyway, so it's not going to make a difference. As the guys who have pitted, I'm not really too sure why they've pitted, but we'll see how it goes. Paco Suarez has spun under the oh my god. Paco has spun under the safety car. And that has ruined Paco's race, I think. As he, for some reason, is taking his time. Silly manoeuvres. I don't even know what to say. I think for the first time in my life I'm speechless. Spinning under the safety car is just why? I just don't understand. Anyway, Paco needs to get a move on. I think Bulking is just not going to make it past as Cam Rules and Luke 2 Red have exchanged positions for some reason. I'm not too sure what's happened there. As Alfie's now made it up to 14th place. with all these spins under the safety. I don't know how you spin under the safety car, but maybe it's just how the hards are reacting to the cool surface. Obviously, cool temperatures in the hards behind the safety car not going the fastest, especially during these sections of the race when everyone's backed up. So you can't go full speed pretty much anywhere, as I imagine the safety car will be in this lap. Bottle King still not joining the back, and Paco still not joining the back of the pack either. But Paco and Kevin will make it. I think Bottle King will make it as well. And the safety car should be in this lap. I'm not too sure if it is. It's not really giving me a notification. I'm going to stay on board with Cam anyway, just to see when the safety car peels in. Is it peeling in? It's not. So, another lap under the safety car because Bottle King pit, I don't know, about 4 times. So, Bottle King, you may as well pit again, to be honest, mate. You know what, get a fresh set of boots on and go from there, because you've got people like Alfie pitting, Paco pit. I don't know what to say. Paco's just smashed into the pit lane, and Paco's going to get a new front wing. Alfie is now pitting for a set of hard tyres, so maybe the hard tyres were the right call. As Alfie's going to drop down the field, but I think he's made the right choice. He's only losing 1 position from the looks of it. Paco, Gamrell's surface collision. Oh, they're all colliding into each other. I don't know what's happened there, as 4 drivers pick up a penalty for crashing into each other. Sondre's been picked up a penalty as well. I'm not too sure why. It'd be nice to have some intercoms between these guys, as the safety car is really backing up the pack now. It's really backing up the pack. So, this is your starting order. Only unless anybody spins, please don't spin. I'm just going to call it now. If you spin, I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh if you spin now, because we've had too many spins, so don't do it or I'm laughing at you. It's lap 8 of the Japanese Grand Prix. We've got everybody on a set of hards or on a set of mediums. No soft runners left on the grid. People have either swapped off the softs or they've opted to take off their already worn soft, or they've opted to pit, put a set of softs on, and then transition back to the hard or medium tyre. Anyway, top 3, Cam and Sondre and Bran, all on medium tyres. Cam and Sondre have not pitted in this race. They have stayed out the majority of the race on their medium tyres. Is that the strategy call? I'm not too sure. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. And there's going to be a lot more incidents I can see. Safety car is in this lap. I repeat, safety car is in this lap. Some drivers like Adam up there and Delta don't normally see them guys up there, as Millum and Lewis Curtis look to take a lovely 1-2 and maybe even battling for the win. I think it will be between these two guys now, as the safety car has been an age going around the circuit as people are chopping and changing during the safety car period, which is just wrong. Cam nearly loses it out of the final corner, but is going to bomb it right now. Cameron Young leads us down as Infinity picks up another 5-second penalty for causing collisions. But here is the restart. MCFC battling Alfie on aspect, because people are pitting for wing damage. Alfie's going to go all the way up to 12th position as the grid continues around Suzuka. The big question is, the top 3 are going to have to pit at some point. We know that. But are they going to gain enough of an advantage on these hard runners? Because these hard runners are going to struggle, especially in the early stages, as we've got the likes of Gravity trying to go around the outside of Jared Fosbury during the middle section of this track. The hard tyres are awful, as Delta has already bit the dust. Delta is off the track. Alfioli's up to 11. So this man, he's been saved by the safety car, and he's going to look to try and capitalise on these guys' mistakes. His penalties coming left, right and centre. Luke 2 Red up there in P9. Definitely a position he has never seen before in his life, but he's doing a fantastic job nonetheless. Cam Rules on the medium tyres as we see yellow flags in sector 1, as it looks like Kevin and Infinity have crashed together. I'm not too sure what's happened there, as Infinity is all over the place. Please don't cause another safety car. I have a life, thank you. As Brian Glover is all over the back of Sondre, he knows what he's got to do. He's got to get past Sondre Sorhaug. Sondre Sorhaug knows he's got to maintain the position. So all the ERS deployment in the world is being used. Sondre is trying so hard to maintain this position. Will Brand go for a move down the inside into the chicane? No, he will not. Will Lewis go for a move down the inside into the chicane? No, he will not. They're going to wait. Single file. Queuing there as Luke 2 Red bins it in sector 3, and there's another flipping safety car. Jesus Christ. Oh, dearie me. Another safety car has been deployed. At least it's the nice Aston Martin safety car, but yeah, nothing to report. I'm going to have a few minutes to myself, I think, and grab a quick beverage as people come into the pit lane like Mr. Bugatti, who's going to stick on a set of mediums, which I think is the play, but I don't think he's got any fresh mediums because it says 3 laps on the tyres, so maybe Alfie's made a bit of a boob, as there is 3 laps left on them tyres, but he thinks he can take them to the end of the race. Interesting, as all the drivers will not be backed up, as the safety car is obviously going to let everybody past and collect the lead at the start of the next lap. But another safety car nonetheless, as Infinity, who's been on her own pretty much the whole race, even with the safety car, he's got a fresh set of mediums on and is just going to carry on. He's just going to carry on with a fresh set of mediums. She's going very slowly. Not too sure why. Maybe she has a Delta. Not too sure. As Kevin boxes for a new set of medium compound tyres. Let's see what these guys do at the front. I think the guys at the front must know they've got a pit now. I think it's a no-brainer. Is Luke Too Red? I don't know what's happened to him. Just randomly lost it and died. And he was in a solid position. Right. So, Cameron Young, what are you going to do, my friend? Are you going to pit? He is going to pit. Brian Glover, what are you going to do, my friend? Are you going to pit? Sundry's lost it, I think. Yeah, Sundry's lost it somewhere and got 5 million penalties and gone from there. But anyway, people are boxing. People are in the pit lane. Matt Romano is going to stay out. Matt Romano is going to lead the race. No, he's not. Matt Romano's going to be up there, though. Go on, Matt. Make sure you get out ahead of all of these. Here he is, Matt Romano in 7th. Matt Romano in 7th. Where is Alfie going to come out? Is he going to get any of these guys? I don't think he will. But look at all these guys. Look at all these chickens. They're nowhere near the front. The likes of Jared Fosbury on the hard tyres could win this race. Brandon Glover on the mediums staying out as well. That could have been a strategy call for the century from Brandon Glover. We've got Paco Suarez on the mediums as well, who spun under the safety car, who's up there in 4th. So this is really turned interesting, as Cam has put on a set of hard tyres, so he doesn't trust the mediums at all. Oh my god, scenes, absolute scenes. There's going to be battles all over the place, as Alfie's going to catch the back of the pack. It's Andre, and then you've got the likes of Delta further back as well. Who else? You've got Infinity and Adam just crossing the line, guys. You gotta, what's going on? Hurry up. I don't my whole life is flashing before my eyes, honestly. Ridiculous. How are they so far back? So we're going to have another lap of the safety car to allow these guys to catch back up, because they're so far behind. Yeah. There's nothing else to report, really. I'm just a bit shocked to see how it's going to be interesting. I think that's the thing to take away. It's going to be interesting, and hopefully for the right reasons this time, so they're just random safety cars here, there and everywhere. Yeah, we should have one more lap of the safety car, and then we should get back underway. So please, anybody in the back, so that's Bottle King, Jess or Kevin, do not pit, please. Please do not pit. And hopefully, you know, we've had more safety cars here than in Monaco. So that's proven that it's been a bit of an abysmal race, as Sondre has pit to get off them hards, which I think is the right decision. Hopefully he's not going to lose the position to Jess and to Kevin, but it's going to be touch and go. Sondre's going to come out, I think, in P15. Let's just double check where Jess is going to come out. Will Jess beat Sondre out of the pit lane? It's going to be close. I think Jess will, but Kevin won't. Jess is going to beat Sondre out of the pit lane. Kevin, I don't think is. Kevin isn't. So yes, Sondre is in 16th place with a penalty. So, wow. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I think my money has to go. If he keeps it on track, Jared's going to win the race. Jared Fosbury If you're hearing this, Jared, I hope anybody who's got the stream on can just hear this for 1 second. If you keep it on the track, as there's damage all over the place, so somebody else is going to be pitting at the end of this lap, but they're going to be screwed because the safety car is 100% going to come in. If you can hear me, Jared, you can win this race, mate. Jared Fosbury could be a race winner by the end of the Japanese Grand Prix. As there's been a shift, I think Jared might have overtaken Bran, just slightly biased them. But anyway, Paco as well, Paco Suarez, it could be Paco and Jared for the race win. I repeat, it could be Paco and Jared for the race win. I don't think the guys on the 5-lap medium tyres will make it to the end. You know, even Matt Romano is going to be up there if people are going to pit. Brand Glover, he's got to pull a gap. I think he's going to have to pit at some point at the end of the race, but it could be Brand Glover's to take. We're not too sure, but Jared Fosbury is in prime time position to take the victory here in Japan. The safety car has to come in this lap. The safety car is coming in this lap. We're going to carry on racing. Lap 12 is going to be the official start, the official restart of the Japanese Grand Prix. Bran leads the way from Jared, Gravity, Paco, Cam, Bottle King, Matt Romano, C-Type Stimmen, Toxic Tomato, Lewis and Lucky TM down there. Jared Fosbury could win this race. Bran, do not break under the safety car, please, mate. As, oh, what an absolute clown. Bran Glover, clown manoeuvres as Adam's going to try and capitalise on a mistake. Paco Suarez could be your race winner with all these penalties. Paco Suarez has got everything to play for. As Adam's going to try and challenge Jared down into turn 1, but it's not going to work out so far. We're going to try and, hold on, we're going to try and see if we can maintain, as Matt Romano is just letting everybody pass, as Paco has actually got past Adam, I think. Yeah, Adam's made a mistake and Paco Suarez is up to P3, so Paco Suarez is on the podium. If people don't bottle it, it's going to be crazy scenes, as there's people all over the place. MCFC, Delta's out, MCFC's died. As well, so there's drivers all over the place making mistakes. Infinity is made a mistake as well, being crashed into. Kevin and Matt all over the place, out of the race. I think Matt's let people pass, and it's just the silliest thing to do. Just race, mate, to be honest with you. It's absolutely disgraceful. Infinity looks like she's out of the race. As Bottle King and Toxic Tomato are going neck and neck on the right hand side of the Spoon curve. Cam is going to go up the inside into Spoon. There was a crash last time this happened. Bottle King's going to press him. Bottle King's going to leave him room though. It's fantastic driving from these two. Cameron Young, can he maintain the position? Is he going to shove Bottle King out wide? There is contact, as Lewis Curtis can see on the monitor. Lewis Curtis could capitalise on this as well. Bottle King on the right hand side. Lewis Curtis on the left and Cam on the left as well. Cam and Bottle King through 130 yard. There's going to be contact. Lewis Curtis is gone. Lewis Curtis is out of the race. Lewis Curtis has spun. Oh my god, he's on the inside and Curtis is gone. He's maintained it on track, but he's down there in P12. Crazy scenes here at Japan, as Alfioli is now in the points and is on the back of Mr. Willem. There's crazy scenes if you look in Gravity on the inside of Jared. And look at this, Cam Rolls is going to make a move as well. Gravity on the inside. Jared tries to leave him room, but he cuts him off. Contact with these guys. Oh my god, it's crazy scenes. Cam Rolls is out. Cam Rolls is hit the wall. Oh my god, there's people, bodywork flying left, right and centre. We're going to carry on with these guys right now. Bottle King has been under pressure like mad from these scenes as Lewis Miller maybe round the outside of there. You never make a move round the outside of there. That is a sensational overtake from Lewis or Lucky TM. What a move. And look at this, Alfioli down the inside into Degna 1. What a move from these guys. Crazy scenes here in Japan. Pedigree always rises to the top. Cream always rises to the top, and that's what you're seeing right now. Bottle King being absolutely mullered as Ross Denham's absolutely bowled it, and that's what I mean. Cream rises to the top and the beer falls to the bottom, and Ross, that is awful. That is a terrible overtake from Ross Denham as he's spun and he's probably out of this race. There's yellow flags in sector 1 as these guys maintain their positions. Gravity still not able to pass Jared, who is allowing Brand Glover to pull a gap, and Paco Suarez, crucially, is in P2 without a penalty and could be the victor of this race. Crazy scenes here at Japan. I'm going to try and keep on board with all these battles, but it's me. Oh, as Jared Fosbury's made a mistake. Jared Fosbury's got 3 seconds for corner coin, so Jared has made an error that could be unforgivable. But Cam, here comes Toxic Tomato on the inside of Adam, as he's got ERS down the inside. We can have a look from the view of Lewis Millam. Lewis Millam, look at that. Crazy, crazy scenes here at Japan. Cam gets past the Alfa Romeo driver as Adam looks a sitting duck. He just doesn't have the pace at the moment. He's got Lewis Millam all over his rear. You've got to be careful though, guys. These adventurous overtakes are fantastic to watch, but you just got to be careful because these guys are all over the place. Adam, as you can see, is already losing time to the likes of Cam. And Cam's on the hard tyres, so Cam doing a fantastic job on these hard tyres. He's got some serious pace in that AlphaTauri, so Cam could be getting a podium at this rate with no penalties to his name. Lewis Millam on the charge as well, with Lewis Curtis out of the way due to unforeseeable circumstances into 130R. He's going to try and move down the inside on Adam Corrigan, but it's not going to work as Jared and Cam are battling like crazy. At this current moment, Jared has made an absolute mess of being second place at all. Cam shuts the door. Jared tried to go up the inside into Spoon, but he shuts the door, and it nearly ended in tears for Cameron Young and Jared Fosbury there. It's Lewis Millam all over the back of Aaron Corrigan. That's how you get an exit through Spoon. Lewis Millam up into P5 on a fresh set of medium compound tyres. Sensational scenes. Here comes Alfioli, Bugatti. He's looking fast. He's looking furious. The number 29, who had an absolute mare earlier in this race, is going to switch to the outside. Will he go down the inside? No, he's going to wait to the straight to try and make a move on Gravity. Gets a pretty decent exit, but maybe not the exit he needs to try and get past the AlphaTauri driver. He is going to burn every ounce of the ERS to get past Adam Corrigan, who's got no straight line speed whatsoever and gets absolutely demolished going into turn one. Alfie should, nice easy move. Yeah, lovely from Alfie as he gets past Adam Corrigan there. Bottle King maintaining P8 and Lewis Curtis running slightly wide, but it looks like he got past his teammate Sondre Sorhaug. So crazy scenes here in Japan as the drivers continue the charge. Cameron Young has passed Jared Fosbury, the cork in the bottle at this current stage, and has fresh sets of hards and is going to see what he can do from there. Jared is looking like an absolute boat here in Suzuka. I don't think there's a harbour nearby, but Jared, if there was, you'd be sitting right in the middle of it because these guys are looking really, really feisty to try and take fourth place off you. Here comes Lewis Millam. He's going to eye Jared up nice and smooth from Lewis Millam through the hairpin in the Williams. This man changes cars more than he changes underwear in this championship, as there's yellow flags in Sector 2 as Ross Denham, I think, spun again. So, let's give myself a bit of a break. Lewis seems to be quite good on the exit of Spoon. Looks a bit tentative through there, but I think Lewis will line Jared up for maybe the chicane. I think he's going to line Jared up. He's going to try maybe through 130R. Lewis Millam's going to use every ounce of his urge. He's going to go around the outside of 130R. That's brave. That is really brave from Lewis Millam. What a move from Laggy TM. Laggy TM up into fourth place in the Williams. He's driving out of his skin here in Japan. Maybe redemption day for Lewis Millam as he's trying his best to redeem the Monaco performance that he looked like he was doing so well. Alfioli down the inside with DRS enabled. He's going to hit the first turn, the 50-metre board, and he should get that move done as well. Jared tries to fight back on them hard tyres but has no grip left and falls all the way from second to sixth. So Jared, damage limitation from him, couldn't keep the guys behind. As Lewis Millam is not done yet. Lewis Curtis has just got past Bottle King going through the S section. That's a fantastic overtake from him. But we're going to stay on board with Lewis Millam because there is non-stop action as purple sector 1 from Mr. Millam. I don't think he would get purple sector 2 because he is now stuck behind the hard-running AlphaTauri. As Millam and Bugatti, I've got to give him credit, as Bottle King has got past Lewis, and Lewis Curtis now maybe making a move down to the hairpin. Adam Corrigan's made a mistake and gone down all the way to P9, and I don't think these guys are going to change positions anytime soon. Sondre Sorhaug maybe going to go around the outside of Aaron Corrigan here in the Ferrari. Entering Spoon Corner, nobody's going to make a move so far. We're going to go back up to Lewis Curtis, who's got Alfa Romeo just in the way as Ross retires from the race. But here comes Lewis Millam. I was going to say Sebastian Vettel there, but here comes Lewis Millam on 130R. He's got pace for days. Is he going to go around the outside? No. Virtual safety car. I think has spared Cam there. A virtual safety car for the incident that has happened on track that slows the pack down. I think Jared might pit, you know. I think it might be a strategy for Jared to pit. Is he going to come into the box? Let's have a look. Infinity comes into the box. Not too sure why. I think it may be to retire. As Bottle King is going to pit as well. We've got Gravity in the pits as well. So Gravity is going to get absolutely shafted by infinity. Gravity in the box has got away, and he was on for points, and his teammates absolutely shafted him. Look at this. Jessica Harrison, who was a lap down and out of the race, has boxed on the same lap as Adam Corrigan, and he's absolutely mudded him. He's putting on a set of softs. Oh no, it's over. It's over for Adam Corrigan. Points off the table if there's no more safety car. But Adam Corrigan has been shafted, but DRS has been enabled. And Lewis Millam, I'm going to have to stay on board with this guy. He is frothing at the mouth to try and get a jab at everybody. Bran is leading the race. There's yellow flag in sector 3. That is a McLaren. Hopefully no safety car if he's crashed. But hopefully he can maintain. He is out of the race, but yeah, there shouldn't be any safety cars. We've just had a VSC. Bran currently leading the way. Lewis Millam, though, is on attack mode. If we were Formula E, he'd have fan-assisted attack mode. Sounds like a cooker more than an F1 race. But anyway, fan-assisted attack mode for Lewis Millam. He's going to line him up through 130R. Cam's really struggling with his battery. And here comes Lewis Millam round the outside. Oh, that's dirty from Cam. Cam needs to leave a lot more room than that as Millam tries round the outside going into the chicane. But Cam pushes him onto the grass. Maybe more room is needed. Lewis Millam, though, DRS assisted with ERS assisted also. Fan assisted down the straight. Lewis Millam takes third here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Cam had absolutely no chance. And to be honest with you, Cam, you were a bit dirty going into the chicane. So I think that is retribution. This is really heating up now because Paco is 5 seconds, within 5 seconds of Bran on fresher tyres. We've got Laggy TM on fresher tyres also, who's nearly within 5 seconds of Bran. Nearly loses it actually going up there, needs to be careful. Got the likes of Lewis Curtis on the back of Jared Fosbury as well, but I think that's going to be one to look out for in a second. Lewis Curtis obviously having contact with Ball King as there's yellow flags in sector 1. That is Matt Romano, I think. Yeah, Matt Romano, down and out. As Lewis Curtis is going to go for the move of the hairpin. Of course he's going to go for the move of the hairpin. Look at that from Lewis Curtis. I tell you what, he may bottle it, but he is a smooth-ass driver. Look at that. Brilliant from Curtis. He's got bags of energy to use as well. And now he is on the hunt. Cameron Young will probably be his next target before Alfie, because I think Alfie's going to bag Cameron in the last sector. I think he'll line them up with all the... Alfie, use more battery. Alfie, if you can hear me, use a bit more battery. Cam's got none. Cam's got 15%, so use a bit more battery to close the gap. But Lewis Millam is on the back of Paco Suarez nearly as well, so Mr. Millam, he is pushing. This race has gone from left, right, centre, backwards, forwards, up, down. It's been crazy. I think Alfie will line Cam up this lap. Hopefully Millam can branch away from the DRS of the AlphaTauri behind, and maybe even past Paco, but I think Paco is going to be the cork in the bottle. It could be a podium from the Spanish Maestro in P2. It could be first place for the Spanish Maestro in P2. To be honest, if he maintains this pace for an extra 8 laps, Paco Suarez could be your race winner. But I think Mr. Millam behind's got something to say about that, because he is frothing for more positions. I think Paco needs to be careful. I don't know what I'd do in Paco's scenario, because if you let Millam go, that is a guaranteed position lost. Only unless, obviously, Lewis bottles it later down the race, but he's going to sacrifice clean air, and he is going to sacrifice position. But if he battles him, he's going to lose touch with Bran Glover. So let me just double check the race director. I know he's got a 5-second, Bran, but has he got anything else? He just has a 5-second penalty and 1 warning. So Bran doesn't look like he's going to be getting a penalty by the end of the race, but let's see the outcome anyway. Cameron Young doing a fantastic job in P4 as people are picking up penalties left, right and centre. I think Lewis Curtis just picked up one as well as he's charging to the back of Alfioli. I think team orders have to come into play though, as Lewis Millam's going to go on the inside of Paco Suarez into 130. Oh, that's a sensational overtake. That's been his move of choice. That has been Lewis Millam's move of choice. I didn't even see the full thing as Lewis Millam takes P2 and a potential P1 here at Suzuka. Here we go, Alfioli, he's got to dispatch his teammate. I think his teammate's going to let him go. That's good sportsmanship from Cameron Young, as Alfioli could spoil Paco's party. He can't get past Lewis Millam so far, and Paco, I think, has just got to try and battle Alfie for a P3. He's so close to a podium, it was all looking good for him, but he's just not fast enough. He's on fresher mediums than Bran, but he's on worner mediums compared to these guys around him. He's got a battle cam, I think, for P4. I think Alfie's out of reach. He's looking very fast and very, very furious. in P4. But it's been a fantastic recovery from these guys. Yellow flags in Sector 1. Is that Lewis Curtis? That is Lewis Curtis. To top off a miserable afternoon, Lewis Curtis down there in 9th place has spun again. Pushing too hard. I think he will get points as Matt and Adam are battling. That's a good move from Adam. But my attention turns back to the front. Back to front. Back to the front. Anyway, back to the future. There we go. Back to the future. We're going back to the future. But what does the future hold, Jeff? We're not too sure. Jeff, Gary, got loads of friends, you know. Jeff, Gary, Alfie, Lewis, you know, they're all friends. But I don't think they're going to be very friendly after this race, as Lewis Millam's already branched to second on Paco Suarez. His Alfie's going to be nice and intelligent, smart driving. It was damage limitation from P9, and it's going to be damage limitation. It's not going to be damage limitation anymore because he is sniffing a potential P2. Even a P1 if he gets close enough to Millam and battles, but I know he wants to be in that 5-second window. As Alfie down the straight takes the inside line, and that is Paco Suarez done and dusted. So, normality resumes here in Suzuka. Your top three: Bran, Laggy, Alfie. Or Bran, Laggy, Gay, if you want to be specific. Anyway. Lewis Curtis pits. I think he's going to try and get the fastest lap. I think he will get 10th anyway, as we see yellow flags in the final sector. Is that Jess? It was Jess. Not anymore, but it was Jess. As Millam is on the 5-second cusp compared to everybody else. Alfie hopefully can make it to the end of the race, but it looks like it's going to be touch and go. But Alfie's looking very racy. Lewis Millam, he's got 5 laps younger tyres than Bran and 4 laps younger tyres than Alfie. But Alfie's looking the more racy of the two at this current stage, and I think that's just because he's in attack mode still. Alfie, I think, is going to be really smart here. Alfie is one of these drivers, very calculated, very cool under pressure, and I think if he sniffs an opportunity, he will pass Millam. But at the moment, Millam isn't catching Bran, and that is a big deal because Bran has a 5-second penalty, and the win is on the cards. The win is on the cards. I repeat, the win is on the cards for these two drivers here. Laggy TM needs to either carry Alfie or needs to get a move on because it's not looking good so far. 4.9 seconds is the gap. Bran Glover is fighting tooth and nail to try and maintain the 5-second gap. But with the traffic that has ensued earlier in the race, it's been difficult. It's been very difficult. I think we're going to go on board with Sondre for a second, though. We'll keep an eye on that gap, though. We will keep an eye on that gap as Cam looks to make a move on Paco as well. We've got Sondre on Jared, Cam on Paco, Alfie on Lewis. So we've got plenty of battles awaiting us in the last 5 laps of this race. A lot of potential in these laps. As you can see, the drivers go around as fast as they possibly can. Lewis Millam needs to pick up the pace. He's on the cusp again of a race win. Can Lewis finally break the duct? Can Laggy TM finally win a Grand Prix? He's been close. He's been far. But it's another opportunity. I don't think he can waste it now. But there's a 5-second gap to the leader. Lewis Millam hasn't got the pace that he's been showing. Alfie might have to get past him here because there's a race win on the cards. Lewis Millam needs to book his ideas up because Alfie Ollie is going to take this place if he keeps on going slow. Lewis, you got to get a move on, mate. Bran's going to win the race if you do not push. It's teetering. It is teetering. Oh, Lewis Millam's lost it. Lewis Millam's round. He's going to hit Alfie. Oh, my God. Scenes. Absolute scenes. Oh, my God. Lewis lost it going into turn 2. And Alfie has taken second place. Alfie Ollie has taken second place, but that could have cost him the race win. Alfie Ollie has... Oh, my God. Lewis Millam, he always makes a mistake. He always bottles it. He managed to keep it on the track, but the win has slipped through his fingers. Lewis Millam has maybe cost not just himself, but Bugatti a chance at the race win. There's 2 laps remaining of Suzuka. And the win was on the cards for Millam as Lewis Curtis sets the fastest lap of the race. I cannot believe the scenes. I cannot believe it. We were talking earlier about the rivalry between these two. We were talking how difficult it can be here at Suzuka, and Lewis might even come under pressure from Cam and Paco. He's got to get his ideas booked in, and Alfie needs to absolutely bomb it, because Bran has been let off the hook. Brandon Glover, who has led the entirety, pretty much, of this Grand Prix, looks like he's going to cruise to the finish line, because that 5-second gap has now increased to 7, because Lewis Millam, with some brilliant driving earlier in the race, has been very, very incompetent, and has not just cost himself, but cost Alfie a chance at the race win. I don't think Alfie's got anything left in the tank. There's 3 laps remaining here at the Japanese Grand Prix. And let's just see how things ensue. I'm just taking a minute just to... I'm shocked. I am shocked. That is another bottle from Lewis Millam again. A race win within fingertips distance, and he's thrown it away. And he's not just thrown away first; he's thrown away second as well. So it could be third at this rate, because Cam's hards look like they're really coming into play. And I think Alfie's going to try and play the team game here and back Millam up into Cam. I don't think he really needs to, because Cam is storming. I'm not too sure why Lewis has got no grip. He has got the freshest mediums on the grid so far. Especially out of the top guys anyway, so... You know, there's... On the social medias... He bottled her. He's got damage. Alfie's fine. There is damage apparently on Millam's car. I've had inside reports from a Twitter group chat that says Millam has damage. So Mr. Millam, he's bottled it completely, and he's going to be under pressure from Cam, surely. And Cam, will he make a move this lap? I don't think he will. But I think Cam looks to snatch a podium from Mr. Millam. Crazy scenes, absolutely crazy scenes. Social media blowing up. Lewis is a trash can with holes in it from one user from Ireland. So Millam, unfortunate circumstances, has cost him again, but it seems to be his own unforced errors. He went from a pretty much, not a guaranteed race win, but if he kept his pace up, would have won the race. And he's gone from that to now battling with Cameron Young on a set of hards for the last podium spot. So I don't know what to say, to be honest, because Cam, it looks like he's timed it to perfection. I think Alfie's done a good thing as well, backing Lewis up slightly. I think with damage as well, Lewis was always going to sort of fall behind. I think he's doing a solid job to try and keep Cam behind, but with damage it's going to be mega difficult. Here we go now. Cam's going to get on the back of him going through 130R. This is the battle that I will be watching until the rest of the race, as Cam actually downshifts into 7 to get more revs, as he may make a move on Lewis Millam. He's not going to make a move on Lewis Millam, and he knows Lewis will not have DRS through the final couple of corners. Cameron Young, I think he's bottled it. I think Cam's bottled his chance to have a go at Lewis. He's going to use everything left in his disposal to have a go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, for the last podium position. Lewis takes to the inside line, Cam round the outside. It's an absolutely awful camera angle, and Cam round the outside of turn 1 has taken the podium away from Lewis Millam. Oh my God, Lewis didn't even defend. I would have pushed him off. Lewis Millam with the weakest defence I've ever seen here in Japan. He has just sacrificed the podium place for what? I'm not even too sure. He did everything he could to try and get ahead of Cam. Cam even bottled the exit, and Lewis Millam just didn't defend it as hard as he could. I'm sorry, Millam, if that's me, I'm pushing him off the track. But Lewis Millam succumbs to his own demise with damage, and I think that's going to be the last chapter in this story, only unless Millam makes an absolute kamikaze dive bomb into the chicane, the final chicane. But we're going to have to go on board with Brand Glover, I think, because Lewis might make a move, but I've got to go on board with the race leader. He's done everything right here at Suzuka as Paco picks up a final penalty. The Aston Martin Cognizant F1 racing team welcomes home Bran Glover, who wins the Japanese Grand Prix in style. Will serve a 5-second penalty, but it won't matter. Lewis Millam isn't going to challenge Cam, and Alfie takes a luxurious P2 with his teammate coming home in P3. Paco Suarez, he could have fought for the race win but didn't have the pace and comes home in P5. P6 for Sondre Solhau, who beats out Jared Fosbury in more ways than one to 6th place. But then Kevin, and it's a great day for Aston Martin because Kevin's got 6th as well. So Kevin's actually got 6th. Bottle King comes home in 9th, and Lewis Curtis, who does take fastest lap of the Grand Prix, who does take fastest lap of the Grand Prix, is actually going to come home in P10, which is a miserable result from Lewis. I know he had some unfortunate circumstances in the race, but that is a terrible result, as Adam Corrigan comes home 11th, Matt comes home 12th, and Jessica Harrison, who's about 7 million laps down, comes home in P13. But there you have it, folks. That is the end of the Japanese Grand Prix. Bran Glover dominates, even with a 5-second collision penalty from Alfioli, who started P9 and, in my opinion, has to take driver of the day. And we've got Cam with a lovely performance, who returns to the podium here in Suzuka. Wow. Driver of the day, who is the game going to vote for? I think it's going to be the same driver as me. I'm not going to be able to see it. It's actually Kevin. Yeah, he drove well, but 9th to 2nd's a bit better than what Kevin did, so we'll ignore that completely. As Bran Glover's going to take all the plaudits. It's always nice to see the Aston Martin on the top step of the podium. The lovely green, it's just fantastic. Like, we got rid of this ugly Pink Panther machine for a beautiful, beautiful green, and it's always nice to see it on the podium. But as you can see, AlphaTauri having another stellar day, really taking charge of the championship as the Twitter blows up massively. I want to see some of these comments before we get these drivers added. But it's the same old, same old. One user put, all he had to do was stay within 5 seconds. Ushin was right about Bran. Too good. The GOAT, from another user. The pen's getting removed. Oh, that's a salty comment from Mr. Millam. The pen's getting removed. You don't play until the whistle. You always play until the whistle is blown. You always play until the whistle is blown. You know, that could be contested, that penalty. Would it get removed? I'm not too sure. It's a severe collision under a safety car. So, would it get removed? Not too sure about that one, Chief. But, you know, especially when I'm a steward, would have made it more interesting. But no, congratulations to Bran, who was outstanding performance. But I think Alfioli from 9th to 2nd, showing his pedigree once again in the team in a chaotic race. So let me get these guys added. I'm just going to pause the stream for 1 second. Right, the return. We are back after our couple-minute break. It's given me a chance to get every driver on the podium and also get a bit of a beverage for myself after that lovely commentary session we had for the majority of that race. It was jam-packed. Anyway, let's get this started. As you can see on the screen, it is the Aston Martin in the showroom, which only means one thing. An Aston Martin driver has won the race, and as you saw 5 minutes ago, Brandon Glover takes victory in the Japanese Grand Prix. Welcome, Bran. It's not the first time you've been here, but just tell us how you feel.
I'm so happy because it's been so long since I've won in the top tier IRL. And it was just a great race. A little bit of luck. Had really good pace though, and I'm just happy. I did not expect I'd be winning today.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think you were a class above the rest today. I think one Twitter user in one of our chats put the GOAT. So there is a lot of people, a lot of fans out there really loving the performance from yourself. But yeah, just talk us through the final stint. You had Paco for company behind you, and you had Jared on the hards as well. Was the strategy when the second safety car ended, was it just balls to the wall, I'm just going to flat out this and see where it takes me?
Yeah, because obviously the first safety car, I went on the mediums, which at the time might have been a strategy error. But obviously the second safety car saved me a bit, and then it was just, I knew I was getting to the end, so it was just, fast as I can. I knew they'd be catching me, and obviously I was hoping Tic Tac and Paco would be a bit of a bust for me, and they were a little bit. And yeah, when they got past Paco, I thought, yeah, they're just going to hunt me down. They were about 5 seconds back, so I was hoping the pen would get removed, but then I started pulling away. I was just quite shocked about, God, it's like 7 seconds. But I was not, thinking about the win, because those curbs, like there's a couple of times where I was a bit scared of them. So yeah, it was a good race for me.
Yeah, like you said, I don't think you could have raced any better. You took every opportunity that came to you. What was the thinking? You touched on obviously the first safety car and the pit stop. What was the thinking with putting on the medium tyres? Was you just thinking, right, we can take these to the end, or were you thinking, I'm not confident on these hard tyres around Suzuka? As you said, the curbs, they are very difficult, and with the hardest compound on with cold tyres, it can be an absolute ice rink out there.
Yeah, well, my thinking was, even though I was quite quick on the softs, I overtook Lewis. I thought, on the other tyres, I'd still be slower than everyone else. So I thought, everyone in the party was saying they're going on to hard, so I thought, I'll put on mediums, try and pull away, and then just hope for a late safety car, really.
Mm-hmm.
But then, obviously, there was an early safety car just straight after, and that sort of cancelled all that out. So that was my thinking, really, behind the strategy.
I think the last thing I'll touch on before I move on and then return to you at the end is how worn were the mediums at the end of the race? Because you were stretching them, I believe, about 17, 18 laps. So was it touch and go with the mediums, or did you feel pretty confident they could go a lot longer?
It was a poo answer, but I didn't look. I didn't look at once after that safety car restart. I was just driving and just concentrating on that. And if they pop, really.
Yeah, no, well, it definitely worked out for you, even with the penalty, regardless if it gets removed or not, you were 7 seconds ahead of everybody else. So congratulations on the win. I will come back to you at the end, as you know. But I've got to move on to second place. Driver of the day, in my opinion, as well. 9th to 2nd. It looked absolutely miserable for you at the start as well, Alfie. But just run us through your race.
Well, hopefully we've got all night, because that was an event. I got killed on the opening few laps twice, had to pit for damage. Then the safety car started, I didn't really know what was going on. I was on hards and mediums and hards and mediums. And eventually found myself 9th on the last restart and just worked my way through the field, and somehow I've ended up in P2. So yeah.
Yeah, like you say, it was a race of two halves for yourself. I think at the start you couldn't really do much right, but then at the end of the race you couldn't really do much wrong. So, really good performance from yourself. I think, just touching on qualifying quickly before we go back to the race, was it a strategy error from yourself? Did you just not get the lap in, or was the plan to start on the mediums wherever it put you on the grid?
To be honest, I hadn't really thought that far ahead to qualifying. I was just kind of winging it, and I was on a soft lap that could have got me maybe top 5, and I backed off because I thought, I reckon I could do a better lap. Then went out to do the last lap and spun at turn 2. So yeah, it wasn't the ideal strategy, but it's the one I ended up on, and clearly it's worked out all right in the end. So it's all good.
I just want to touch on 2 final points before we move on to third place as well. Obviously, there was an incident at the start that you said a driver completely missed his braking point, or probably didn't even know where the braking point was, and took you out. 1, run us through that, and 2, I want to talk about the Millam incident at the end as well, but we'll start at the start of the race.
Yeah, so I know Tech was in front of me. I can't remember who it was who hit me, but basically into the last chicane, I broke, and the car behind just has not stopped at all, and absolutely destroyed me into the last chicane. And I've gone spinning all the way across the track, rejoined, and I think took him out because I was literally spun back into him. So it was a bit of karma. And then that dropped me to about 14th, 15th, and then coming through 130R, everyone decided to brake for some reason. I got damaged.
Yeah, and like you say, it wasn't a good start for yourself, and there was a bit of an incident at the end. Can you just take us through turn 2 with Millam, who potentially bottled, not just for himself, but for yourself, a race win?
Well, a short view back to the past, I was on about his lack of mental fortitude, and it came in, a big way. He bottled it, the mental game. He was toast. His brain was fried, and he just lost how to drive a Formula 1 car. And nearly took me with him, but because I'm actually a driver with skill, I could avoid him.
As you say, some strong words before and after the race from you and Lewis. I think that rivalry will intensify in the later comings of the season. But just moving on to P3 as well, it was your teammate. It was Mr. Toxic Tomato with Cameron Young. I thought you drove really well for a P3. I think there may have been more left in the tank for a bit more. I think you'll be a bit unsatisfied with the P3, but I thought you drove really well. Just run us through the strategy, because obviously you were one of 2 drivers, you and a Ferrari, Sondre, who stayed out long on the medium tyres through both safety cars. So just run us through what the idea was.
Well, I mean, in quali, I was quite happy with my lap, so I thought if I don't actually have to set a lap, and then I end up, I think it's P5 on mediums, so I was quite happy. And then unfortunately the first safety car came out and it wasn't ideal, but I thought if I can stick on a set of softs like lap 17, obviously the guys are going to be on old softs, old hards even, so hopefully I should be like a second lap quicker. And then the second safety car comes, so it was either don't pit and definitely lose out, or pit and maybe just lose out. But yeah, unfortunately it was just 2 early safety cars.
Yeah, like you say, it did seem to have quite a strong start for yourself with the first one, but the second safety car I think really did mud you. Just thoughts on the hard tyre strategy. You were one of only a couple of drivers to put the hards on sort of near the end of the race to take them to the end. I just want to know your thinking behind it. Weren't you confident on the mediums to take them to the end, or was the hard tyre always what you were set to go on in that point?
Well, I didn't fancy pitting twice because obviously I started on mediums, so I thought I'd rather not lose out too many positions, so I'll just go with the mediums, go with the hards even. Because I think Alfie was saying to me, I think if I'd pitted, I'd come out like P14, which was still like 2 positions behind him, so yeah, it was always track position.
And the last thing I'll touch on as well, I believe Millam, after his contact with Alfie, did accumulate a slight bit of damage. But just talk us through, obviously, your move on him, because I felt like he went a bit easy on you. I know you didn't make it easy for him going around the outside of turn 1. It was a very impressive move. But I was expecting a wider elbow, put it that way, going through turn 1. I was saying afterwards, push him off, it's the final lap. And he made it quite easy for you, but I know you messed it up slightly on traction coming out of the chicane when I was on board with you. It didn't seem like you got the best of exit, but it seemed a bit too easy. What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, well, I saw him drain the battery the previous lap, so I knew going into the chicane he'd only be on about 20% if that. Yeah, he went really aggressive to the inside, first of all, but then he didn't really want to push me off or run me wide, so I think he was fairly, some people would call it, pussifying. He was very passer, just not good, just not good defending. But yeah, like I said, I think it was quite easy, more than easy, to be honest.
But no, like I say, you and Alfie doing a stellar job for AlphaTauri again in another race, and I'm glad the foot has recovered as well from the previous incident. We will just move back to Bran for the final few questions of the interview. Next race, Canada. Another wheel track. I think some of these pad drivers are really getting sick of this now. But another wheel track. Just give us your thoughts, Bran, on Canada and what are your hopes for it?
I'm hoping that I don't get disqualified for penalties. Probably. That's about it. Yeah, it's just penalties. I don't know about the pace. Might be alright. Hopefully, top 5 would be good. Podium, things like that. I'm not hoping. Obviously, now I've got a win. I'd like that, but I've got to be realistic and everything. I'll be getting another win straight away.
Alfie, thoughts on Canada?
When will it end, Robbie? No, the wheel tracks. Same as Japan and Monaco. Just got to salvage whatever I can and wait until the pad tracks and take advantage. Unlike what the wheel guys have been able to do, they haven't taken advantage.
Very true. And Cam, final word from yourself. Canada, hopes, dreams, aspirations.
Good track this game. Pace normally stronger on Canada, so I think we'll just have to wait and see.
Wait and see. Well, there you have it. You've got avoid penalties, damage limitation, and let's wait and see. So it's going to be exciting as always. But I've been Lord MK for the Japanese Grand Prix. Congratulations to all of these guys as well. Commiserations to the likes of Paco. I thought drove brilliantly out there. Lewis Millam obviously making that final mistake. And you'll see me the same time, 4 o'clock, roughly around about then, next Sunday for Canada. So yeah, take care guys, and all the best.